Hi, this is Mr. Newton from J.J. McClain Middle School in Lexington, Mississippi. I am a 7th grade social studies teacher, and I'm also the social studies learning team leader for the Mississippi Corps in 2013. I'm making this video because I want to give some suggestions for teachers on how to arrange their room to make the room a successful learning environment for students, and also to promote a healthy, beneficial classroom climate for these students, a good classroom culture. One that's not destructive, one that is not only a place where students can learn, but they can also complement each other, learn to be leaders, learn to take ownership for their education. Now, I'm by far no means an expert, but after my first year of teaching, I found some things that were very useful, and I want to talk about those things today. The first thing I want to talk about is the front of the room. I'd highly recommend that every teacher have a couple things in the front of the room. The first thing that they should have is their big goals. They should have a set of no more than 5 big goals that they want their students to accomplish. And the thing about these big goals are that they should be measurable. Let me give you an example. Let me take my computer and show you what I'm talking about with these big goals here. Okay, so if you look up here, I'm going to show you some of my big goals posters. The first goal is students will score an 80% or better on every 9 weeks exam. The second one is students will win the weekly quiz challenge at least once per every 9 weeks, and it keeps on going on like that. Essentially, whatever assessments you use, you always want to have a quantitative assessment, and then you always want to include a qualitative, something that you can't really measure but is also important. For example, over on this side of my wall, I have a bunch of college memorabilia, so the kids know right when they walk in my door that Mr. Newton wants to help them get into college. Here's my qualitative goal. Students will feel more confident that they can succeed in school and eventually go to college. Obviously, a feeling you can't measure, that's why it's not quantitative like an assessment is, but it's important to have those qualitative things because sometimes students get bogged down with the idea that they have to do well on tests. It's good for them to have a qualitative goal, something that involves feelings or emotions. So besides having a big goal at the front of your room, you should also have your classroom rules. If I'm getting most of my information from the First Days of Schools by Harry Wong. That's a great book. I'd highly recommend purchasing it, but let me show you what I have for my class rules. They should be no more than 5. They should be fairly simple. One of my favorites is follow directions the first time given. That's a very general rule that applies to a lot of scenarios. I also have raise your hand signal. I'll talk about hand signals in a moment. And be recognized before speaking or leaving your seat. All my rules are very general, so you can apply them to many situations, and the kids will understand that, okay, I just broke a rule, and they won't question it because it's so general, because it can be applied everywhere. Now, my hand signals. This is something I've really found useful. Rather than having your students every time stop class, ask you a question, rather than calling on every student when they raise their hand, use hand signals. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. If you look up here, I have a chart that says hand signals. I have different commands. For example, I wish to speak as one command or one question. I wish to leave my seat to throw away trash, turn in the paper. That's another command. So essentially what I'm doing is that rather than calling on every person with their own little requests, I can see, okay, an index finger means I need to talk. I need to make a comment. 2 fingers means I need to get out of my seat, throw something away. So for example, if I'm having a quiz and I want everyone quiet and I want them in their seats taking the quiz, if someone raises 2 fingers, I can tell them no, and I don't have to even talk to them. I'll just shake my head no. I won't even say the word no. I'll just shake my head no. So hand signals are a very useful tool. They let you know a lot of information without even having to talk or stop instruction. I'd highly recommend implementing them. Other than that, other things you should include in the front of your room, I'd recommend a discipline plan. I have a 3 strikes policy, basically. 3 strikes, you go to the office. Some of you might think that's too strict. That's fine. I find that it works well. The first consequence is a warning. The second consequence is they have to write a discipline essay, why they did what was wrong, and then they get a phone call home. The third one's an office referral. But just make adjustments based on your school, how accommodating your principal is. Okay. Other than that, that is about it. Make sure you got your big goals. Make sure you got your classroom rules. Make sure you have your discipline plan in the front of the room. And also, I'd highly recommend using hand signals. Thank you. I hope this helps. If not, sorry, adjust and do whatever you need to do. And also, I recommend you buy First Days of School by Harry Wong. It's a great book for procedures. Good luck. Have a good teaching year.